Hello, we are back again. This is another lesson for the day. But before going to it, you do well by subscribing to this channel, sharing it to your loved ones, to your children, to your friends, to be part of this channel. Also, like it, share it, and follow this channel for more updates. Today, we are going to be looking at another example of indices. As you can see, this is an example: 4 raised to power minus 1 all over 2 times 16 raised to power 3 all over 4 divided by 4 raised to power 1 all over 2. This is a problem that involves indices. Now, in such situation like this, what do you do? This is 4 raised to power minus 1 all over 2 times 16 raised to power 3 all over 4 raised to power 1 all over 2. Now, what you need to do in this case, you now express the numerator and the denominator in the power of base 4. That is 4 raised to power minus 1 all over 2 times 4 raised to power 2 all raised to power 4 divided by 4 raised to power half. So now you can see that we have expressed the numerators and the denominators in the power of base 4. Now, in this case, 4 raised to power 2 here means 4 times 4, which is 16. So you are going to have 4 raised to power minus half times 4. This means 2 times 3 all over 4. So as you can see, this means power of power law. If you go to your indices, the law of indices, you will see means this times this, which you can see it here. So in this case, so this is 4 raised to power minus half times 2 here, 1 time into here 2 times. Then you are going to be left with 4 raised to power 3 all over 2. This 2 into 4 is 2 times divided by 4 raised to power half. Now from here, we will now apply the product rule in the numerator. That is, since they have the same base, you are multiplying indices with the same base. You apply product rule. By product rule, you take the base and add the powers. Now become this plus 3 all over 2 divided by 4 raised to power half. So we have added the base. Now you are adding fraction, and when you are adding fraction, take note, you take the LCM. Look for the LCM. If you are adding fraction and subtracting fraction, look for the LCM, and we are told that the LCM is being determined by the denominator. So in this case, the LCM is being determined by the denominators, and the denominators here are 2 and 2. So automatically the LCM becomes 2. So we are going to say 4, 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times minus 1 is minus 1. Plus 2 into 2 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Then we have this. So minus 1 plus 3. When two numbers with different sign comes together, subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, but let the sign of the operation carry the sign of the bigger number. Like in this case, we are going to subtract 1 from 3. And we subtract 1 from 3, you are going to have 2. And we are told that let the sign of the answer will carry the sign of the bigger number. The bigger number here, which is 3, is carrying a positive sign. So it becomes plus 2. All over 2, this 2. All over 4 raised to power 1, all over 2. Now, 2 divided by 2 is 1. All over 4 raised to power half. Now, from here, we now apply the quotient rule, where the base are the same. And what we do in this case, we now subtract the powers, taking the base, then subtracting the power of the denominator from the numerator. That is 1 minus 1 all over 2. So that is what we are doing, as you can see there on the board. So in this case now, this is the same thing as saying 4 raised to power 1 all over 1 minus 1 all over 2. So we are subtracting fraction. And we are told that when subtracting fraction, we look for the LCM. And the LCM is being determined by the denominators. The denominators here is 1 and 2. So the LCM become 2. 1 and 2. The LCM of 1 and 2 is 2. So we are going to have 2. Now take our normal line. Then 1 into 2 is 2 times. 2 times 1 is 2. Minus 1 into 2 into 2 is 1 time. 1 times 1 is 1. So you are going to have 2 minus 1 is 1. All over this 2. So this is 4 raised to power 1 all over 2. When you have a fractional indices like this, what you need to do, the denominator will be as the root of the base. Now this is 2. Since it is 2, it is square root. Now become square root of 4 raised to the numerator. The numerator is 1. And this is the same thing as saying square root of 4 raised to power is square root of 4. So square root of 4 raised to power 1 is the same thing as square root of 4. And square root of 4. Now square root means 2. You look for a number that when you multiply that number by itself 2 times will give you 4. And we now discover that 2 is the number. So if we multiply 2 times 2 will give us 4. So therefore the answer becomes 2. So this is the final answer to this problem, as you can see. So like we are told, this is how to solve problems in indices. In mathematics, there are many ways of solving mathematics, many methods of approach, but the answer still remains the same. If you don't understand this method, I'll give you an alternative method. So whichever method you think it is best for you, you can do it. So but take note that mathematics, we have many methods of approach, but arriving at the same answer. Let us look at the alternative method. Now, in the alternative method, let me say method 2. In method 2, we have 4 raised to power minus half times 16 raised to power 3 all over 4 all over 4 raised to power half. So that is what is given to us, and this is an alternative method 2. So I can also solve this different from the other method. Now, since this is raised to a negative index, you get the reciprocal of this. And when you get the reciprocal of this, to remove this minus, it will now become 16 3 all over 4 divided by this 4 will come down, raised to power the half. So we have removed this minus, times 4 raised to power half. So you can now see that to remove this is just like you having, this is the same thing as saying 1 all over 4 raised to power half. So 1 all over 4 raised to power half, this 4 raised to power half will come down. Then 1 times 16 will become 16. So this is what we are going to have. And now, in this case, you now express the numerator and the denominator in the power of base 4. Here you are going to have 4 raised to power 2 here, 3 all over 4 divided by 4 raised to power half times 4 raised to power half. Now from here, you now see that you will be having, this means 4 raised to power 2 times 3 all over 4 divided by 4 raised to power half times 4 raised to power 1 all over 2 here. Now this is the same thing as saying 2 into 4 here, 2 here 1 time, 2 here 1 time into 4 2 times. So you are left with this. You are left with 4 raised to power 3 all over 2 divided by 4 1 all over 2 times 4 raised to power 1 all over 2. So in this case, we are going to apply the product rule at the denominator. So you are going to be having 4 raised to power 3 all over 2 divided by, since we have the same base, we add the powers plus this. And when you are adding fraction or subtracting fraction, you take the LCM, and we are told that the LCM is being determined by the denominators, and the denominator here is 2 and 2. So automatically the 2 becomes the LCM. So you are going to be having 2 as the LCM. So 2 into 2 is 1 time. 1 times 1 is 1. Plus 2 into 2, 1 time. 1 times 1 is 1. So you are going to be having 4 raised to power 3 all over 2 divided by 1 plus 1 is 2. We have 2 divided by 2. So 4 raised to power 3 all over 2 divided by 4 raised to power 1. So, and in this case, we are going to apply the quotient law of indices, where the base are the same. So now, since the base is the same, what we do now, we take the base, then subtract the denominator power from the numerator power. We now have 3 minus 1. 3 all over 2 minus 1. So we are also, in this case, we are also subtracting fraction. And when we are subtracting fraction like this, we look for the LCM, and the LCM is being determined by the denominator. And the denominator here is 2. So we are going to have 2. 2 into 2 is 1 time. 1 times 3 is 3 minus. Remember that this is a numerator, so it has a denominator of 1. So 1 into 2 is 2. 2 times this 1 as the numerator is 2. So you are going to have 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. 1 all over 2. So in this case, this a number 4 raised to power half, and this is the numerator, this is the denominator. So when you have fractional indices like this, positive indices, the base will now look for the root of the base, and since it is 2, is the square root, becomes square root of 4 raised to the power of the numerator here, which is 1. And this is the same thing as saying 4 square root of 4. So anything raised to power 1 is 4. So the square root of 4, you look for a number that when you multiply that number 2 times, since it is square root, will give you 4. And we know that 2 is a number. So 2 times 2 will give us 4. So 2 now is the square root of 4. So this is the second method of solving that problem we solve. So we have seen the first method, we have seen the second method. So do well by looking at it and solve problem for yourself. So it will be do you well if you can share, you can subscribe, you can follow. It is good for you. Thank you as you stay good and fit in this channel. Follow it up, for it will do you better. To those who are writing JAMB, NECO, WAEC, those in the high institution, you also need this. Those in the secondary school, you also need this. From SS classes, this is for you. Take note. You are welcome in this channel. Thank you very much. In the next time, we are going to look at further problems. For now, we are going to rest this. We are going to rest here. The next lesson will be in physics. So take note of that. Then after that, we return back to mathematics. So this channel, like I said, is for educational purpose only. Thank you as you subscribe. Thank you as you follow. Thank you as you like. And for more updates, you are welcome.